Hi, everybody. Joe Chaffee here. Weather in 5 days in 5 minutes on this Thursday, the 9th of November. I got the month right this time. And our rather benign weather pattern just continues to move along. We had a warm front setting up to our north earlier today. A cold front's passing on through. And you can see there's clouds up in upstate New York and northern New England that extend across the northernmost Great Lakes and back up into northern Minnesota and North Dakota. That system's moving straight eastward. And we have the trailing cold front that is stalling out across parts of the Tennessee Valley down into Texas, and there's some subtropical moisture that is streaming northeastward from there. Some of that is actually going to get into parts of the south and also parts of the southeast, which are dealing with the drought and some wildfires both in northwest Georgia and in western North Carolina. Much of the rest of the country is doing fine today. There's moisture coming into the Pacific Northwest, but that's about the extent of it. And you can see the rain that is moving into Washington State and northern Oregon. Meanwhile, we've got this area of rain that runs up from central Texas northeastward into Arkansas, now moving into western Tennessee as of the 3:30 p.m. radar, and in the northeast, with the cold front going by, steady precipitation is exiting Maine. A couple of showers over Hyannis and Nantucket and offshore Long Island. Also, a couple of light showers in northern Delaware, extending back to the Washington, D.C., Baltimore area. Again, much of that is on the light side. Otherwise, the rest of the Atlantic coast down to Florida, really not seeing much of anything. Now, let's look at WPC's rainfall forecast. And what's interesting is to me, certainly, and to our area, is the fact that there is no rain being forecast, no measurable rain being forecast for the next 7 days. So that takes us through next Thursday night. We do see finally some significant rains coming into southeast and southern Louisiana of up to a few inches. And of course, they're under an extreme drought there. And some heavier rains on the order of as much as an inch and a half, kind of nosing its way into Georgia, 3/4 of an inch to an inch into South Carolina and coastal North Carolina before you run into the drier air to the north, and then the rain amounts really shrink. Over the next 7 days, we're looking at what could be also some substantial rainfall for the West Coast. Actually, as much as a half an inch extending all the way south, as far south as San Diego. As far as snow is concerned, still rather lacking. This is not really that unusual for this time of year because we are still in the first 10 days of November. But just some low probability 2-inch amounts in extreme northern Maine and extreme northern New Hampshire. Another small area in the upper peninsula of Michigan. Again, this is the probability of at least two. Picks up a little bit in the northernmost Rockies, especially when you get on the Canada side and on up into British Columbia. Now, as far as where we're going, well, next 5 days look pretty straightforward here. So this is the GFS at 1 o'clock this afternoon. So you see there's the cold front, and then it becomes stationary down to this wave of moisture that is moving out of Texas and into Arkansas and Tennessee. Now, fronts lately have had a habit of stalling out to our south, and this one is too, but it's going to stall out pretty far to the south. So the rain area that's there, the northern fringe of it may briefly get into southern Pennsylvania and southern New Jersey tomorrow morning before it pulls out tomorrow afternoon. I think otherwise there probably will be a fair amount of clouds. And we've got this high that's sitting up in Minnesota, and there's a colder flow of air that is coming down out of southeastern Canada behind that cold front. And that really is going to be our story here going through Friday and the weekend, is that we are going to have this chilly, slow-moving air mass into the eastern part of the United States. But the weekend is going to be fine. We're going to have sunshine in eastern Pennsylvania to southern New England, and in fact also for the rest of New England and down into the mid-Atlantic states and west to the Great Lakes and Ohio Valley. There is going to be some rain occurring along the Gulf Coast, extending into parts of the southeast for Friday night and Saturday, and maybe even into Sunday. That's good news for this area because of the drought. And then you can see the next couple of systems that move into the Pacific Northwest with some rain and some heavy snow in the mountains. But this high is just going to hold on into Sunday, and then just as it pulls out, there's another short wave that's going to come down from Canada and move into New England, and that is going to give a little bit of reinforcement to the colder air from Monday night into Tuesday. And then after that, we'll have some lingering chill into Wednesday before we start a warm up for the second half of the next week. Now, there's some hints that maybe there'll be a stronger cold front late next week that could bring more significant rains up the coast and into the Northeast for, let's say, Friday and for next Saturday. Models are really going a bit gangbusters with this particular cold front, and there's also some question as to whether there's a tropical cyclone that develops in the Caribbean, which the GFS has been showing for the better part of 10 days now. Some of the other models are starting to pick up on this. I don't know that it has any impact on this cold front. I think we'll still have a shot here that we could see some significant rains toward the end of next week. And we will be discussing all of this, including the long range outlook, maybe some hints as far as Thanksgiving week is concerned tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show, and that's at 7:35 p.m. Eastern Time. So we hope to see you then.